Adams Mutawakilu is a member of parliament for Damango, and thanks for joining me. How are you? All right. Okay. And then also we have the National Nasarawa Coordinator of the NPP, Kamaldeen Abdullah is here. A very good morning to you.
Good morning, Ro.
I see you're watching the Daily Guide.
Yes.
It has on the front page, it says your manifesto is taking shape. When are you launching it?
Well, once again, very good morning to your cherished viewers. Good morning to you. Good morning to your crew. Good morning to my brother Mutakil. He's actually having it tough in his constituency. It's quite very, very tough. You see, we are launching the manifesto, inshallah, on the 9th of October.
Just this Sunday.
Sunday coming. And we're going to have it in twofold on same day. The first session is what we call the interaction with the stakeholders of this country. I mean, we should have a picture of Ghana accepting our manifesto. That is why the Fishmongers Association, the Traders Association, that is GUTA, talk about the political parties. We are inviting all of them. We are inviting also the security services, chiefs, all those who matter in Ghana, the Nurses Association, the Pharmaceutical Council, all of them are going to be invited. And in fact, the diplomatic corps who also have. So at that session, we're going to have Nanado being on his feet and presenting to them the manifesto as it's going to appear. Again, some other speakers will be there. I think we're going to have about 6 speakers on that day. It's just a 2-hour session, very short. Having done with that, then we move out to the forecourt of the trade fair, where we'll see the jamboree kind of outdooring of our manifesto and ushering us into the battle for the 7th of December. Trust me, our manifesto is going to be, already we've given highlights and hints. We've hinted to Mother Ghana or the people of Ghana what is going to contain. We're talking about the creative arts, talking about the Zongo Development Fund. You know one interesting thing about our manifesto? Interesting.
Tell me.
I am someone who works for the Nasarawa wing, and of course I'm the coordinator nationally, or the national coordinator I should say. I'm happy to see that for the first time a policy driven towards development of Zongo is going to be in our manifesto, and it's going to happen. That is why we're going to have what we call the Zongo Development Fund Authority under Nana Addo Dankwa and Dr. Bawumia. I read the entire 80-page of NDC manifesto. I took pain, not just because it's beautiful, not because of anything, but I wanted to know what vision do they have for us going forward. And I realized that conspicuously missing, there is nothing talking about the 365 Zongos in Ghana. Nothing. No policy. Not a single proper policy for them. And Nanado and Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, as well as the National Council of our party, of which I'm a member, sit down to say, no, coming out with this manifesto of the party, we ought to look at a policy that indeed will be feasible and that indeed we can push to help the Zongos. So we have that in our manifesto.
It's okay. I was asking just preliminary.
I just wanted to know what we are thinking about the people. But do you know what?
It's okay.
All the pro-poor policies that are running now in this country can be credited to us.
You birthed them.
LEAP, MASLOC, NHIS, capitation grant, name all the pro-poor policies.
It's just preliminary comments.
And my good brother has nothing
to
show off.
But as a campaign, you seem to be finding it very tough in many areas.
That is what he's indicating.
Because if you look at the pictures, sometimes accompanying Dango Kufuado, you have a lot of crowd accompanying.
No. That's why my brother said I'm finding it tough. I'm somebody who never takes anything for jokes. To the extent that even my opponent admitted that in 4 years as a member of parliament, I have worked. That is an admission from my opponent. I can get the recording for you. The day they were filing their nomination, they indicated clearly that Honorable Galus has worked, and but you need to change him. And that correlation doesn't work. When you say somebody has worked 4 years in parliament, and my opponent, who is going to contest me, admitted publicly that I have worked, then if they give me 8 years, 12 years, I'll do much better. And therefore, there is no need for change. So they have given us a message.
Is that a reflection of what is at the national level?
And very, very well. He spoke about Zongo Development Authority. I'm happy.
Fund.
You see, in 2000, if they had implemented their promise to change all the Zongos to high-rising building, there wouldn't have been anything like Zongo Development Authority. So they have targeted those Zongos in 2000. They voted for them and they left them out. But as a Shota Democratic Party, Congress, we deal in equitable distribution of resources. And man, we must mark it. Equitable distribution of resources is not the same as equal distribution, no. Where there are shortfalls, we invest more there to lift it to be in line.
But the
as a party, we know that if we identify certain shortfalls in the Zongo, we invest more, and as we do to bring them up in line.
Have you done that?
We have. Go to the Zongos. Go to the Zongos. So your promise of
I am a subject of a Zongo.
No, I'm saying your promise of Zongo Development Fund Authority refer to 2000 and answer those questions that you used to deceive the people of the Zongos to vote for you. And after 8 years, you cannot point a finger at one structure that you have constructed to support the Zongos.
That's not true.
So tell me, you indicated in your manifesto, when you come, the Zongos will return to high-rising buildings.
Okay, so now we know that the launch of your manifesto is on Saturday.
It's on Sunday.
Oh, it's on Sunday.
Yeah.
All right.
And
so
all the restaurants will be turned to modern restaurants. So we've had
they didn't say it will be
messages.
a fairy tale as far as we're concerned. But let's move on.
Okay.
There's the PPP suing EC for contempt, but so far they said they've not been able to locate the EC chair to serve the writs. But what do you make of the concern of the PPP, which ultimately, after going to court, placed an injunction on the Electoral Commission for accepting the filing fees?
Well,
run up to the exception or the accepting of
it's important,
the nomination forms.
Yes, I think before I get there, it's important for all of us to note that indeed for almost 24 years, 24 or more years, that the NDC have had as a social democratic Congress, he calls it, to rule this country. They've never instituted a single pro-poor policy. Where is their social democratic credential?
Thank you.
Let me put that aside.
I'm still
I'll go ahead. Now, we're talking about a suit that actually has been filed in court, which had to do with, the filing fees for both presidential nomination and the parliamentary nomination, as proposed by the Electoral Commission. The PPP, in exercising their rights as a body that is duly mandated by law to exist, decide that they want to go to court. I don't know whether it's an individual out of the PPP who has gone to court or the party itself that has gone to court. I don't have the details actually.
It's the party.
It's the party, very well. So as a body mandated by law and so went to court. Point is that on the 29th and 30th, the EC had put those days aside for filing. I remember clearly that I went with Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, inshallah the next president of the Republic of Ghana, after December 7th, to file, and including some party people. And the EC chairperson indicated that she wasn't going to accept the banker's draft that we had brought because of fear of contempt. Now today, if you prefix your submission or your question to us with the fact that the PPP up until now says they have not been able to save the EC. So I'm surprised. You see, there's some conflicting scenarios here. The EC chair has gone ahead to say, I am refusing to take this because I may be cited for contempt, because there's a matter in court. If you are not properly served, how then do you then say that there's a matter in court?
What happened?
Going by what you are telling me, if it is true,
they have served the EC on the first one. What happened was that the Electoral Commission accepted the filing fee of the PPP when they came to submit their nomination forms, because they brought it alongside.
the Electoral Commission accepted the PPP's filing fee and refused to accept others' filing fee. You see, but technically that was that's a very interesting one. I wonder why PPP also have to send a filing fee attached when you have a case in court. Because this is left for the lawyers to look at it. But I think clearly you could be even be cited for contempt yourself, or because your case to a very large extent, because you are a petitioner, you petition the court, could be thrown out. Because if you petition the court on the fact that this money is rather too much and that it was done capriciously and it was the discretion was actually overly used, a whole lot of laws were cited. Now, if you do this, then you yourself go back there. The major issues you are challenging, then you go to give a Electoral Commission accepting it. The case, with all respect to them, is moot. Okay. To me, with all respect, what the Electoral Commission, you are almost killing it. According to the report, I don't want to sound prejudicial. Okay, anyway. What the Electoral Commission, according to the report, in the media or reports in the media have been saying is that, well, they thought the PPP, by bringing the money, perhaps may have withdrawn the case or not.
Thank you very much, and good morning to our cherished viewers, and especially the good people of the Mango constituency. Before I go, we are now saying good morning to them. Yeah. After giving all the stock. That one was the preliminary. And I always do that. Asking. Oh, you always greet them after. No, the main program.
You didn't greet like usually.
No, when the main program is starting, I greet my people. Okay. We have.
Anyway, that one was not part of our conversation.
Yes, it wasn't. It was not. It's not necessary that I must always.
It was a anyway, I'm the moderator. I'm saying that it was a preliminary discussion.
The preliminary discussions, I just respond to those ones. Yes. Then the main discussions are now say good morning to our cherished viewers, and more especially the good people of Damango constituency. But before I get that, he made a quick statement before going to this. Yes. Pro poor. So he doesn't know what the pro poor policies we are also implementing. In fact, the school feeding they implemented, on the face of it, was pro poor under their regime, but it wasn't pro poor in the implementation. If you say pro poor and Achimota is benefiting from school feeding, then that is no poor people at Achimota? No. Oh, Achimota, that's not true. Achimota Secondary. It's a public institution. No, Achimota Secondary. No, don't say that. Achimota Secondary. Poor people had to come from. You know Professor Nabila? No. You know Professor Nabila? The president of the House of Chiefs. He's an Achimota, was it? Those times, there were not these scholarships. There were not these scholarships. Oh, no. They were having scholarships. So you must be very careful. You make your point. Then you forgot that free school uniform is a pro poor. Oh. Free sandals is a pro poor. Do you get my point? How many guys? Free, you see, is it a pro poor or not? This is to benefit those who don't have sandals to go to school. And it is the poor who do not have sandals. So it is to emulate. So when you mention those things, always go through it very well. Okay, I hear. Two, this issue
of the PPP.
Yes.
And the nomination.
I'm just looking at, you have filed an injunction in respect to an issue. You should know better. I'm not a lawyer, but that is what I think. I think their lawyers didn't advise them. Yeah, you should know better that this is what I have filed. The moment you decide to pay, then you've indirectly cancelled whatever the injunction you've placed. I'm not a lawyer, but maybe the lawyers will interpret it better. Because if I say this thing, I won't agree. This money you ask me to pay to do this, I will not agree. I'm going to court. And in filing my nomination, I issue a draft to you that I'm paying it. What does that indicate? In my view, it simply indicates that whatever you have taken to court is no more necessary. Two, that can be used as an evidence, because the main purpose of it is that the money is too much and therefore you cannot pay. And therefore they need to reduce it. Now you've issued a check that indicates that you have the ability to pay. What will be your stand in court? What will be your stand? These fees I cannot pay because it's too high. So want Electoral Commission to reduce. At the same time, you went ahead and paid. Okay. So I think that.
But we know in the regulations, if you get 12.5% of the vote, your money will be refunded
for parliamentarians. Is it for
presidential? For presidential.
But what do you make as an individual and also somebody who is contesting this election about 50,000 being and then 10,000 being the fee you have to pay for both presidential and parliament?
Good question.
Yeah. First of all, I relate it first to our primaries, internal primaries.
It doesn't matter.
First of all, in our internal primaries, what happened? What was the fee charged? And you do a reference to EC. If in our internal primaries, we pay 20,000 as filing fee, and that one is no problem, then EC says parliamentary candidates will pay 10,000, and that one is a problem. I'm finding it difficult because the money comes from individuals, and EC sometimes from the party. Like ours, the party will issue a draft covering all of us, and that is what the National Democratic Congress is doing. But if you go to the internal and you pay 20,000 as filing fee and everybody is asked to pay and people have paid to contest, I don't see the reason why EC1 is odd. That is the way I have looked at it. Because if you set a precedence and EC is even charging lower than that, then you now come and say it is high. In the first place, what decision did you take previously in the internal election to set it at that level? And did you consider the economic situation of those applicants during that time? And recently at Karga, the filing fee was 220,000. Just last week they had the primaries, MPP.
Which filing fee was it?
It was 20,000. It was 20,000.
For
look, even the executive came out and complained. It was 20,000.
Why? I went and conducted the election.
I'm telling you.
Me sitting here,
look,
myself and my vice.
That's okay.
Conducting it. I read it in the news.
Oh no!
I've made a floor.
You read a very false news item.
It was a newspaper.
Okay, that's
and I haven't.
Okay, he's here. He's saying that it's not 10,000.
I don't think so.
That's okay. That's okay. So have you concluded on the subject?
So the fact,
okay.
no, the fact of the
10,000.
That's okay.
The fact of the matter is that some paid 20,000. Please, let me. It was stratified.
I'm in the party, and I'm telling you.
No. It was announced. It was announced.
Announced where?
It was stratified. Those who are members of parliament, and those who are not members of parliament. And it was indicated that those who are members of parliament, because they contribute monthly. Well, we are in Ghana and we've listened to all.
If you need education on this, tell me, and I will.
It is not an education.
No, if you need education,
but I also have the knowledge. I also have the knowledge.
Yes, it was
that
put in
if you're a member of parliament, you pay lower.
No,
you pay lower.
You pay lower. You pay lower.
No, that's it.
No, we had what we call. No, let's make clarification. Let us not misinform people out there. We have what we call the development fee. If you are not a member of parliament and you are contesting a sitting member of parliament, you pay higher than the member of parliament is doing.
But that's the point.
That is the same point of view.
I am disputing not this point. I'm disputing the first point that recently held primaries in Karga, they paid 20,000. That is a palpable lie. A very big one.
Lie what?
I'm coming. Why? Point is that the people picked forms. We at NEC or National Executive Committee, we agree that all farm constituencies filing fee is 10,000.
Okay.
That is agreed. It's a known fact.
So they cannot.
So when you
so they would not have paid higher.
I don't know why you have to come.
No.
Look, you move from NDC and come into my party and tell me what that is not.
What I'm saying,
you. Let me tell you.
You are running away from the chairman. You are running away from the
national chairman.
You are running away from the fact.
You are addressing you are moderating the program.
No, but I was the one talking. You have hijacked.
No, you just landed.
No, I've not landed. I've not landed. You were interjecting. When you were talking, I kept quiet.
Okay, so
then let me land.
Conclude.
It is a known fact that when the primaries were conducted, it was stratified.
Yeah, sure. That's the knowledge I have too.
Some
if you are a sitting member of parliament,
you pay less.
You pay less.
If you are an open constituency, you pay when you are below 40 years. You even gave age ranges.
We gave some rates.
So you cannot tell me that nobody paid 20,000.
So all you are saying is that they didn't pay a flat rate.
They didn't pay a flat rate, but the highest was 20,000. So if within a party,
some people pay 20,000.
Within the party,
some people pay 20,000.
Sure.
Okay.
Even within the
not
party,
that-
within the
not-
party.
Not the Karaga instance.
Yeah, because the Karaga one, there was a publication on it.
All right.
And I monitored publications.
Okay.
And if you don't refute that publication,
so you may
over
have
a period, I'll consider it to be true. Because if somebody published something untrue and it is not counted, what does that mean?
Okay, so learn from me.
So all in all, I don't see the
What you inquire
10,000
about.
for members of parliament to be such that we complain as if we cannot afford it when internally our filing fees were more than that.
It's interesting the way my good brother who understands what it takes to mobilize an internal primaries as a party and what it takes for a state institution like electoral commission to also organize elections. He's a member of parliament. I'm happy about it. The electoral commission have had cause to come before them in parliament with a whole budget that they will need to organize these elections. I'm not sure the last time I checked, a political party went to parliament seeking for a budget to be paid them to organize the general primaries. Okay? So that's the first difference. Point is that if you are a political party, you are supposed to fend for yourself in terms of monies.
You're supposed to internally
generate money to organize elections. And you know what it takes to do that. Okay. So if you argue that you pay 10,000 for your primaries, therefore the state ought to also take 10,000 when the state in actual fact have had their monies given to them by parliament or government of Ghana. Okay, so why are they having double payments? No. Are you getting me? In any case, your own chairman, Dr. Potofi. You know when they went to this Bieja and they Bieja and went to Munche 3, got to Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said you have Bieja, you have to pay some 10,000 and go to for custodial sentences in addition. You know what the chairman said to the whole wide world? Kofi Potofi said times are hard. This time 10,000 is not easy to come by. Kofi Potofi in his own words, he said times are hard. Times are so difficult. People are gnashing their teeth, struggling to get banku to eat. And you are saying we should pay 10,000 is too much. He was lamenting. The next moment, then EC comes out to say we are paying 10,000. I mean, in principle, we have not said we are not paying. We are paying. But it doesn't also take away the fact that times are not hard. We are worried. We are paying as a result of, yes, that's what they have said. And we don't want, by Article 45 of the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, to be seen to be meddling into the affairs of the electoral commission, even though we can say anything. The discretion is up to them. So we are paying, but we are paying with pain. So in principle, we have to pay, but in actual fact, we are not happy with the filing fee. It's too much. That's a fact. We are not happy with it because I've given you the reason.
What would have been ideal? What would have been ideal?
And well,
for presidential like this, what would have been
ideal?
Parliamentary?
You see, indeed, again, I would have to say that even with the 50,000, when the filing nominations were supposed, forms were supposed to be picked at the electoral commission, 26 people picked for presidential. At the end of filing, 17 people had filed, even with the 50,000. Okay, you see, the fear of reducing the presidency to nothingness is also there, and I'm sure that's one of the factors that has also informed this 50,000.
Is it not something that you agree to? That's
which one?
We just don't have anybody contesting. I said.
Oh no, I agree with it. I agree.
So some of the African country elections, the ballot box, you have about 30 people, 40 people.
But let us not be seen to be quite on the higher side.
Okay.
Look,
is it arbitrary?
It is not. Well, for me, I think that it's quite a very difficult amount of money to raise. You remember our father, late Dan Lati, when it was how much? It was around 5,000 Ghana cedi. He said he had 2,600 and wanted somebody to borrow him some money in addition to, may he rest in peace though, to go and add up and pay. It tells you that even then things were hard, and now you are taking it to 50,000. It's not really easy. But see, again, the likes of people who have gone to get houses from President Mahama and get cars, they said it too. I didn't say it. That's Ekwedanko. The next moment she came out to say she didn't even take it. All these people want to be president.
So which one are you?
So my point is that yes, let's be moderately right. Let us be a bit moderate. Let's move on. But to argue that the party took so much and therefore the party had to organize and pay electoral commission, pay security, do internal arrangement, all this by themselves.
Let me make some distinct differences. My brother has made this thing as if Electoral Commission, apart from their budget, they don't need to raise any internally generated. Every institution submit a budget.
But it should not be at the expense
No,
of
I'm coming. I'm still coming. So, therefore, if they submitted a budget, they shouldn't charge anything. One, that is out. We shouldn't take it is like that because they've been given a budget. Oh, then they shouldn't raise, because they will continue to work even after the elections. They will continue to work, and every institution does that. There will be what government will give and what you will raise internally. Two, relating that to Muntie 3 is not comparable. 2, 3. Muntie 3, they are individuals. I'm talking of individual. It's not the party that was paying the 10,000. Are you getting my point?
MPs not individuals. What are you talking about?
No. That is why I said
I'm an individual candidate.
As an MP, so the party has paid for me. I made it clear. I made it clear. And I believe that MPP,
because the party you're running under the ticket of the party, you're saying.
Yes.
Okay. And independent, who pays for them?
In the primaries, I paid for myself in the primaries, and I raised it. But at the same time, that one we have deaf ears. That one, you see, the individual who struggle to file, that one is normal. You see, we shouldn't look at the internal election and national election to be too different. Internal election, somebody has the capability to contest and win, but the barrier is the fees that you are requesting to pay.
Do you think, per some of the interesting analogies that have been drawn, perhaps having the 50,000 and the pegging of the 10,000 then kind of controls the caliber, but also those who seem to have worked hard enough and also tend to have the knowledge and the abilities to be able to influence national politics, to contest? I.e., can we look at the other side of the argument that if we're going by this, by the next 2 election period, we'll be having only rich people contesting?
Yeah, relatively, it shouldn't be over expensive. If it were, these fees were over expensive, we wouldn't have had 17 filing out of 23 who picked the nomination form. If it is truly expensive, we wouldn't have 17 presidential candidates filing their nomination out of 23. So, relatively, I don't think it is too expensive. It is.
Somebody will say, yes, because your party is in power, it's okay.
Not necessary. The other parties who file equally
and are not in power.
Are not in power, but they've been able to do that. 2, we shouldn't make it lower the bar to the extent that anybody can just get up and then move anywhere.
So we're on the same page.
Yes, move and do it. And at the end of the day, bringing out crowding the political atmosphere. So they must be, if you're an individual, who are the potentials? And people identify it. I know certain people will be willing.
If you have that much
to support you,
to pay Shatawale to come for your campaign launch.
We are still, if you want us to discuss it, we'll discuss it.
Oh, why? But you
no, it's not up for.
If you want us to discuss it, because I will have a shot for you if you don't take time.
He's being mischievous.
If you go there, I'll give you a shot and you will you can have a shot for you.
Conclude for me,
so we shouldn't also make it said that anybody can just get up and fight. And I believe that if people identify certain potentials in you,
if you're good material, people will invest in you.
People will be willing to invest in you.
So now we make it a point where it's not as if we have to blame the Electoral Commission too much, because it's a reasonable fee. If you know you've worked hard enough, you want to enter into politics.
Honestly, we as a party have not come out to say that we are blaming the Electoral Commission. We only had to express our concern that indeed times are hard, just trying to correct.
And your views here are just your own individual
views. Of course, but in principle, we have gone to pay. We went there and then we were told that PPP is in.
There's a certain index called the Mo Ibrahim Index. I'm sure all of you would have. And Ghana has retained the rank of 7, the 2015 Mo Ibrahim Index. It kind of measures governance and the practice of governance on the continent, etc. And if we're 7, it means on the continent we seem to be doing very well. If you take a look at it, I'll start with you.
Really, that's a very interesting one. I think that not too long ago, the president was somewhere touting Moody's rating, and that Moody's had said that our credit ratings have actually gone better. and that we have moved to stable to a stable position or so, and that he was somewhere in France and was so happily touting it. Then I laughed and said, look, some of these things we should try not to be hypocritical when it happens. Not too long ago, Afrobarometer reports came out and told us how corrupt our government looks. Not too long ago, we had series of intelligence unit, economic intelligence unit, came out to tell you that, look, the porosity of the governance that we are given by Ghanaians, indeed, is going to see the MPP changing, coming to power, because there's going to be change in the offer. They poo-pooed it and said it was nothing. You understand? The next moment, when they hear Mo Ibrahim and they hear Moody's, they say the whole world should hear about what is going on. You see, my point is that Mo Ibrahim index, indeed, if we talk about good governance, what goes into good governance? Simple, very simple. Ask the common Ghanaian today whether the school fees can be paid. Ask the common Ghanaian today that the records that we all know, whether he or she can easily go and buy pure water when it was 5 pesos and now 20 pesos. Ask the common Ghanaian today that today, as we speak, transportation from Accra to Kumasi, where I come from, how much is it and whether they can afford it. Ask the common Ghanaian today, as we sit today, whether the health institution that we have, the killer policy of cash and carry, is rearing its head again into it. Is it not so? It's so. And are they happy? They are not happy. That me is what good governance ought to see. If you say you are putting people first, let the people feel that indeed there's good governance there. Ask the common Ghanaian today whether JIDA has not been used as a conduit to milk Mother Ghana. It has been. Whether create and loot and share is not there. It's there. Ask them today whether or not, as we sit in this country, people are not dissipating our hard-earned resources and using it for concerts and all that in the name of launching it. These are things I think that are on the ground. So for me, this index, yes, on paper, I agree. I don't have a problem. But what juxtaposed with what is happening?
Okay, so you're saying on paper,
it's
okay.
That we are
but practically,
what is happening
but they pick the variables or the indicators from the ground. So how do you do the variables?
Really, I'm not sure you have gotten the detail of the way they conducted their research anyway. I don't know if I have not gotten the details. I don't really know the variables that they use in arriving at this. Point is that they say 7. But see, there's one thing about this thing. Sometimes a lot of politicking goes into so many things, and I'll be so happy that you shouldn't just get your head swollen or being so big because somebody says this or whatever. Politicians, we must be mindful of the fact that the subjects who vote for us must also be able to be
Adam Mutawakilu, for example, I know you want to comment on this. Once you do that, you also add, for example, they say we're doing well in rural development. We also are creating economic opportunities for sustainable development, and also we're improving on the subject of human rights, so to speak.
Yeah, you see,
overall in the context of human development.
Let me. My brother is looking at things in another way. Why? Democracy and good governance is an issue, and we need to understand it very, very well. Democracy and good governance. Moody is an internationally recognized institution.
I've not said it's not.
So if you say it is on paper, that is another
I never
thing.
said it's not.
2, if you made mention of rural development, there is improvement. Why? Because most of the roads are being constructed, mulching compounds being constructed, where access to healthcare is very critical. Even if national health insurance is there and you cannot travel to another area to have access to it, it's a problem. You know, the national health insurance and the MPP was mutual. So if you were in Damango and you traveled to Kumasi and you were sick, you couldn't access national health insurance. As at this time, it's national. When you go to any part of the country and you are sick and you have a card,
it's network.
You go, it's network. That is an improvement. And the healthcare. When we talk of people improving in standard, my brother will make it very clear that this year, the Hajj, most of our brothers from the northern sector took off from Tamale.
10 people died at the Hajj village. You want me to bring that?
I'm coming. I'm saying that.
Very good.
I'm saying that most of our brothers from the north
died.
Most of our brothers, even Hajj.
You handled
Let me tell you, no, it's not handling.
You know that.
Do you know how many people died last year in Saudi Arabia?
About here.
I'm talking about Saudi Arabia.
In Ghana.
Last year,
the people you have
over 500,000, over 500 people died. Why? For death is death. It can happen at any time. But they were not treated in any deplorable manner. No, I will not believe it. I was there.
You know how many people couldn't go to Hajj?
No.
I'm surprised.
You see,
he's touching us.
When you were talking, let me tell you.
You had your point.
We took off from Tamale because President Mama has provided us with an international
Don't use that one.
airport that has made it possible.
So don't use that as an indicator.
Why? Why?
I'm telling you that this
Let
year,
him make his
millions of people couldn't go to Hajj.
Come on, let him make his point.
After they paid their
Let him make his point.
You see, my brother is
they paid money
agitating.
and they couldn't go.
My brother is
and people died as a
agitating.
result.
My brother is
Because of what you
agitating.
did.
But me, when
You are happy
Jamaica
about
came,
it.
you see,
Not this
my
year.
brother
He
is
didn't go
agitating. He went last year. When he came, has he spoken anything bad about Hajj? Because he was treated
Why you
well.
sent him to Mecca?
He was treated well. If he had had a problem with the government,
Did he say about
you
it?
see. So we all admit that there have been some improvement. Two, in terms of healthcare, we have several regional hospitals that are being constructed. Be it Tamale, be it Bolga, be it Wa, be it Asante, be it Accra, the Rich Hospital, be it Ghana Medical School. That is an expansion. And that is the social infrastructure that will bring quality human development into the country.
I am telling you
And you are saying that you are doing it. You are doing that.
That is what I'm saying.
Roland,
we are
lives
doing.
were lost at
Let
the
him
Hajj
make his
village.
point.
My
That's the
brother.
point.
You've made a point.
And people
Lives-
didn't go to Hajj after
No.
paying their monies
Yes,
to
we
the
know.
Hajj board.
Let
Some of them
got
didn't.
fainted.
It was
I'm
announced by
telling you,
the
they're
Hajj
all
board. It
over.
was
And
announced by
you
the
see,
Hajj
so
board.
when you sit here,
The
you want to have
Hajj board
credit.
came out
Look,
and
your
apologized.
brother,
The Hajj board
you
came
see-
out and
you should
apologized to
apologize to
those.
us.
No.
Even before
You see, my brother,
I want to say that
my brother is feeling uncomfortable when I'm
Uncomfortable
talking.
what?
You see, what we talk of transparency and accountable governance is what Hajj committee has done, the Hajj authority.
Taking my
When
money
there are
and then
challenges,
you
they
took my
gave
money.
a slot of, let's say, 500 people. The travel agents booked more than that. And there is a cutoff. Once you exceed that cutoff,
You see the
because they pay into the account.
No, actually,
It's not something
it's okay, please.
Excellent.
And the most
public
important
knowledge.
cited incompetence
The two
on
of
their
you,
part.
the two of you, can
and
I-
the most important
the
thing,
two of you, can I make a point?
Yes.
This is public knowledge.
And the most-
there was a difficulty. Some of them didn't go.
Huge one.
No, listen, not huge one. A number of them, but please, this is the explanation that was given. We have a quota.
yes, a quota is given.
Now the Hajj committee has met the quota, but then they were promised by the Saudi authorities that they could give extra. They didn't give the extra. As a result of that, the flights didn't go. We know that the
No,
Hajj,
you see,
the Hajj
you
authorities-
the most important,
no,
You
I
have to
think
buy the
no,
after
it,
talking about the
it-
Hajj
it
committee.
didn't only affect us. It affected
you are
Nigeria.
buying
It
the
affected
after-
other Muslim
let me-
I'm
dominated
saying
In
that
countries.
human
their
relation.
ineptness was
Yes.
exposed. Incompetence
In
was
human,
exposed. He just told it.
you see, in
You
human,
didn't know how many
in
agents
human
were doing it.
relation, in human relation, it is difficult to satisfy everybody.
Why do you want to use the
But
English talk? You
your
first let me
opportunity
also come
to
in.
no, you were interjecting me. Your opportunity to come out
Okay, my
and
time is up. I have
explain
to
to the
close.
people is
I want-
very critical.
I want-
Your
I
time.
have to
I'm
close.
saying
The ministers will run
saying
away. You even
I'm
even
saying
get
that.
one
I'm saying
Hajj
that life
board
was
member
lost at Hajj
to
He's a
come
member
and
of
explain.
Parliament for
As a result
Damango,
of
and
the way you
Kamaldeen
treated-
Abdullahi is the National Nasarawa coordinator of the MPP. I had wanted you people to comment on the subject of the NDC condemning what he described as an agenda by
Kofi Adams knows nothing when it
MPP
comes
to
to
discredit
Shah's
state
operation.
institutions who take stands
It
on
is a
position.
fact.
He knows nothing.
What did
Kofi Adams
We're taking a break.
Why?
When we come back, we'll wrap up
What did
for
Kofi Adams
you,
knows nothing.
and then you can always get interactive throughout the rest of the program in day. Just stay on.
They said the gift was